Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today we've got a battle between the only two civilizations in the game to have access to unique units in the Feudal Age, and if that's not enough, we've got a battle between a civilization that takes less bonus damage against a civilization that metes out even more bonus damage. We'll see which one prevails as Mr. Yo, playing as the Sicilians in blue, gets ready to take on Babaorum, playing as the Gurjaras in yellow. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate and closed off surroundings because we are on arena, and man, what an ugly arena spawn we are on. We'll take a look at that in a second and try to get their butts up to Castle Age, probably, hopefully Imperial Age as soon as possible. Why don't we take a look at the civ matchup we'll be watching today as the geese develop a mind of their own and run the hell away from the town center. Where are they going? How is Mr. Yo scouting? Okay, so he is using geese to scout. Not too sure why they're doing all the way here. You are not the Gurjaras, which we'll mention in a second. In any event, the Sicilians, a civilization whose strength, in my opinion, derives from their static defensive structures. If you take a look at the top left of your screen, you'll notice Mr. Yo starting with 100 extra stone, which is fantastic because the Sicilians build town centers twice as fast as normal, castles 50% faster than normal, and starting in Feudal Age, they can spend that extra stone on their unique structure, the donjon. Think of this as a mini castle that gains HP and armor as the game progresses, and starting in Castle Age, does shoot multiple arrows even when ungarrisoned. Ooh, Ibex trying to run away just like those geese. Might want to gun it down any second now. Now, donjons, like their sister structures, the Bulgarian Krepost, can be used to train the unique unit of their civilization. In this particular case, I'm referring to the Sergeant, a medium infantry unit with great base armor whose HP actually increases in Castle Age, and like I mentioned, one of the only two unique units that can be trained in Feudal, similar to the Gurjara Camel Scout. By the way, you can use those very same sergeants to build and repair the donjons, which give them life. Now, that is where the similarities end, as Mr. Yo has trouble pulling the boar. Similarities to the Bulgarian Krepost and the donjon, unlike the Bulgarian Krepost, can be used to train spearman line units and can also count as a prerequisite to a stable and an archery range, meaning the Sicilians don't necessarily need to build a barracks. But by far, the coolest feature of the Sicilians is their ability to call a First Crusade, where each one of these town centers spawns 5 sergeants, up to a maximum of 5 town centers, so 25 extra sergeants in the blink of an eye. Now, to help protect those sergeants on the battlefield, Sicilian Knights and Cavaliers can be upgraded to get a big +1/+2 armor boost, and all Sicilian infantry, cavalry, and archer units take 33% less bonus damage and can be upgraded to be more resistant to conversions. Now, to help feed a big, hungry, militaristic population, the Sicilians do have the best farms in the game. Whenever you get a farm upgrade, research it, more than doubles the amount of food that's added to the farm. So the Sicilians, a fully maxed out farm in Imperial, well over 1,000 food. Taking a look at the Gurjaras, we have on the eastern portion of the map a civilization that focuses on man's other four-legged best friends, horses, camels, and elephants. Gurjara camels and elephants are created 25% faster. All of their mounted units deal extra bonus damage, progressively increasing all the way up to 40% extra bonus damage in Imperial. Their camel line units, their elephant archers, can be upgraded to make them much harder to kill with a +4 melee armor boost. So I guess additional armor is also a similarity that these civilizations have. And their first unique unit, the Shrevamsha Rider, super fast, versatile cavalry unit that can actually dodge enemy projectiles. Now, to support their mounted units against pesky, annoying things like pikemen, halberdiers, maybe even Sicilian sergeants. Ooh, let's pivot back here. The Gurjaras can field a second unique unit, the Chakram Thrower. This is an infantry unit with a ranged melee attack that throws discs, very much like Xena Warrior Princess, and much like her disc, the ones thrown by the Chakrams can hit multiple units at once. Now, although the damage output is quite low on the Chakrams, I think it's a base of a 3 attack or a 4 if you're elite. What do I want to call it? The trick of a chakram, the special selling point of a chakram, is that the pass-through damage to other units is 100%. Think similar to the Arambai, and they also come with a small attack bonus against infantry. Now, to help the Gurjaras build up their military, they do start the games, as you see, with 2 free berry bushes underneath their town center. They, unlike any other civilization, can also garrison their livestock. If you'll take a look at these geese already inside the mill, which auto-generates food, added 1 unit at a time up to their coffers, and they can upgrade their entire military-industrial complex so that all Gurjara military units cost 25% less food, which for a civilization with some pretty powerful units that are quite food-intensive is a pretty big deal. Those are the two civilizations. Like I said, incredible similarities. 2 Feudal Age unique units. One deals out up to 40, let's say 20, 30, 40% more bonus damage. One takes 33% less bonus damage. And as I was, a light bulb went over my head right as I was describing the civilizations. These guys can upgrade their Nightline units with extra armor. These guys can upgrade their camels and their elephant archers with extra armor. And that is it's a pretty big deal. We'll see which one prevails. We'll see if we're lucky enough to see Hauberk augmented Sicilian cavaliers taking on these super tanky Gurjara camels. For now, though, let's take a look at the map because I already noticed some yuckity yuck here on Yellow's side of the map, Babaorum. Usually in Arena, you start with a nook, an additional space where you can expand into, and usually it's walled off already. In this case, his nook is not walled off, and I'm looking at Mr. Yo, who also has a nook, also not walled off, and annoying 2 gates instead of 1. Okay. And what was also annoying about the bases that have spawned, and Mr. Yo just says, you know what, I'm not even going to deal with any of this. I'm just going to plop down a market, which is something that Babaorum cannot do because his opening is a little bit bigger than Mr. Yo's, as dirty as that sounds. One last annoying thing that I will point out is I really don't like on arena maps when, how do I put this? Forests, trees, bamboo in this case, forms part of the wall off. In this case, what are you, pine? Yeah. Not snow-covered pine, just regular pine, I guess, during the autumn. This is great during the early stages of the game. Absolutely terrible during the later stages of the game when you have things like onagers popping out that can absolutely destroy these much quicker than, for example, they can destroy a wall. Both civilizations, I believe, do have access to onager, although I would, if I was a gambling man and I was putting siege versus siege, probably go with a Sicilian siege line. The Gurjara is missing all... no siege engineers, no siege onagers. Their rams are replaced by elephants, which, depending on who you ask on Reddit, are either a amazing replacement for regular rams or just the absolute worst replacement for rams. Whereas the Sicilians, their siege line is absolutely perfect. The only thing they're missing is bombard cannons. So we'll see whether we're lucky enough. Usually on Arena, my usual spiel, there are 3 stages of a game. In the first stage, the players rush their butts up to Castle Age, and as you can see, 13 minutes into the game, both players are well into the progress bar here. 1 minute 20 for another, 1 minute 20 for another. So basically going up off the back of the same villager count, the same 0 TC idle time. Do they both have loom delayed? Yes, they do. So neither player researching loom. So they should hit the next age basically at the exact same moment. Maybe just a split second apart. And once they hit Castle Age, stage 1 of the game ends. And then stage 2 begins, where the players fight over these gravity physics defying golden objects that we like to call relics. And once all 5 relics are taken into the various bases, settlements, and monasteries, then stage 2 ends and stage 3 begins, which is usually people's favorite stage, where the players just build big old armies and clash them into one another. Who doesn't like to see that? We were talking during a live stream yesterday, or 2 days ago, how it doesn't matter how old you are, your age, what you do in life. Who doesn't like to see little tiny soldiers on a screen crash into one another, kill each other? Although I guess the answer in this particular game is these 2 players, because there's a few little hits and pokes and prods. Looks like our Sicilian has taken a lot more HP damage, but our Gurjara is unrelenting, continuing to chase, but not a single kill just yet. Both players in castle. Monastery for blue is up. Monastery for yellow is up. Monks being trained for both players. Camel peels off to the north. He knows Mr. might try to go this way. No, never mind. Mr. goes south instead. Camel, confused, stops in the middle of his tracks and doesn't really know what to do. So what is the game plan here for Mr. Yo? Is he still on relic scouting duty? He's seen 3 relics, has not seen the 2 to the south of the map. So I wonder if he's just leading Babaorum's units on a merry little chase. Babaorum has, by the way, seen 4 relics. Oh my goodness. Isn't it always sour when the vision doesn't extend? Literally the tip of this black, gray, fog of war spear that he doesn't see the relic. That is very sour. That is incredibly sour as Mysterio now moves out with a monk, but a monk already out on the field for our Gurjara, who has begun walling off part of the opening there, that gaping chasm that leads into this expansion area that he has, but not quite fully walled off yet. Monks should be able to shoot away these light cav, won't really get a conversion. And it looks like both players are sitting on 2 town centers, 34, 35 villagers apiece, 7 army count. So we are settling comfortably into the second stage of the game. I'm surprised Mysterio didn't go to snipe that monk. He very easily could have, as Babaorum can now snipe this monk. You can try to body block all you want, but now that they're light cavalry, they just need 2 whacks of the sword to kill the monk. 2 monks to 1, though, not a bad trade. Not a bad trade at all for our Gurjara, who now has 1 monk left. Mysterio has to spend 100 more gold. Will he get any kind of convert? Babaorum wants to keep these units around here for as long as possible to give that monk even more time to convert. There is a relic being brought back to the Gurjara base. So first relic of the game will go to Yellow, who still has not seen the tip of the spear. He's trying to body block, but this is the impossible thing. You cannot body block against light cavalry unless you outnumber them like 15 to 1. So all of a sudden, 2 kills apiece. Babaorum feels comfortable enough to escape with 1 more monk from the settlement, the confines, the shackles of being indoors. Says no more COVID restrictions for me. I am going out. I have my face mask and I'm going to go out on the map and collect some relics. Still has not seen the 5th relic. Has our Gurjara, and that's it. Mysterio, you're done? Okay. He's just healing up his units for now. 2 kills apiece. What's the HP like on these Gurjara units? Not terrible. I mean, the HP on all of these units is not great, but looks like our Gurjara does have 100 extra HP compared to the Sicilian. And Mysterio's trying to do some fancy footwork here, but again, you really need to outnumber your opponent like 1,000,000 to 1. Otherwise, your monk is just going to die. You can't have even 10. I mean, this is just 9, but even if he had 15, I don't think that monk would have survived. And Mysterio brilliantly pulling the yellow light cav to the right as he moved in with a fresh force to the left. Got that monk, lost only 1 scout for him. Not the end of the world. Looks like probably was an injured scout as well. Okay, stage 2 taking quite a while here as only 1 relic has been gathered for now. Our Sicilian 6 villagers on stone, 390. Remember, unlike the Krepost, which costs 350 stone, the Donjon, just 175 stone. So he's got enough stone. Doesn't have the wood for it. I should point out, unlike the Krepost, which costs no wood, the Sicilian Donjon does actually cost 75 wood. So you do need to have a bit of wood in the bank, which now Mysterio has. Another monk bites the dust here. Camel is guarding the relic. Oh, he still hasn't seen it. He's discovered the left side of that patch of darkness, but still has not seen this relic. Oh, mama. Okay. He's going to try to body block. Let's see the fancy footwork here. No, he does not at all. And then another monk bites the dust. And I always wonder, depending on the length of the game, depending on how much they spend on them, is it really worth it to keep losing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bars of gold, maybe even over 1,000 sometimes in some of the games we've seen, just to be able to get a bit of relic income? Because if the game doesn't last very long, that relic income is not going to be very high. Oh, look at this. He's going for a castle drop. We'll discover the wall off. The villagers derp out. Hey, what's going on here? What's this house that I bumped into? And he's going to place a castle right under the very nose of the Gurjara. And Mysterio, with that quick walling off skill that we've seen him employ against Hera, for example, has walled his villagers in there safe. And finally, we've got a bit of a battle here. Wondering why Mysterio didn't take that battle. He could have easily taken that fight, but now there's more and more camels being brought out. These scouts are now riders. They have a plus 12 attack against cavalry, but remember, cut that. So usually, here's the funny thing. The Gurjara camel, I should say any standard camel, comes with a plus 9 attack, I believe, against cavalry. But because the Gurjaras are in Castle Age and they deal 30% more damage, that 9 becomes a 12, right? I think so. Where are you, Mr. Camel? I already forgot what I clicked on. Yeah, the 9 becomes a 12. That being said, you've got the Sicilians, who now take a third less damage, so 12 goes back to 9, I think, right? I'm not too sure how exactly the mathematics works in Age of Empires. Sometimes it's a little bit confusing. But as I said in the intro, what a super fun matchup, and lucky that we're getting to see this. What are the odds of 2 specific civilizations matching up in Age of Empires? What is it? Oh god, how many civilizations are there now? I don't know why I'm having such a difficult time with this. 42? Right? I think 42 civilizations? In any event, whatever it is, what is it? 42 times 41. That is the odds of this specific civ matchup, or if there's 45, 45 times 44, if I'm remembering my basic high school math properly. And that is the odds of this particular matchup. Although it's probably times 2, right? Because you have the Gurjara versus the Sicilian, but you can also count the Sicilian versus the Gurjara in that equation. So 42 times 41 times 2. Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. 1 over 42 times 41, and all of that multiplied by 2, right? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody with a more mathematically inclined brain. And that's all assuming, by the way, that there are 42 civilizations, as Mr. Yo just absolutely going ham. And this is why it sucked for both players that this little nook was open from the very beginning, and he had to build a bunch of houses. Don't ask me why he didn't build a stone wall. Maybe he thought he's playing the Cumans. Maybe he thought he's playing the Goths. But Mr. Yo is not done. These villagers, why are they running away to do some lumberjacking with so many scouts? A random chakram thrower being added into the mix here. And our Gurjara behind us says, you know what? No biggie. I'm heading up to Imperial Age. And so even though you've got your castle up first, I'm going to get my Treb out first, most likely. And once my Treb comes out, your castle is donezo. And once I've cleared you out of this place, I can rebuild my nook, my cranny, and I can be victorious? I don't know how to finish that sentence. Win the game, basically. Let's see what's going on here as Mr. catches wind of the castle being plopped down here. A very well-placed scout. And it looks like our Gurjara finally discovered the location of the 5th relic. He does have 1 relic only still. And Mr. Yo using the attack here in the front of the yellow base, using the opportunity to gobble up 2 relics of his own. Looks like 1 blue monk is heading here. Will run into this camel. And now the light cab move in, and this is going to be a whole lot of dead villagers. Oh no. Bonus schmonus, your villagers will not last very long. Are they still missing loom? No, they finally do have loom. But that's not going to help very much. Oh man, they all die. What an absolute massacre of villagers. No, what he looked like Babaorum was going to send a few more. Oh my goodness. Camels move forward. It'll be a little while before they get rid of this mangonel. And get rid of it they do. Looks like Mr. Yo converted the only chakram thrower that was here. Why is Babaorum so hesitant to take a battle here? What am I missing? Why is he luring him underneath the town center, but then not actually using the town center to garrison any villagers? Man, camels just absolutely suck at killing things. Except for everything they counter. Mr. Yo also going up to the next age and final age, I should point out. But he's going to have 1minute and 50 seconds where Babaorum can pump out a Treb. And yep, immediately gets a Treb from which castle? This castle. Looks like another converted chakram dies. And the last house here. So Babaorum is making no real effort to defend the nook. His town center has fallen. He's not getting food from these farms. He's been pushed back. Mr. Yo is now cracking open his main settlement. But Babaorum has Trebs. He's going up to 2 of them. So both of these castles are going to come under attack. And now he's an Imperial. So that attack bonus jumps up from 12 to 13. So I guess it should have been 11 point something and then it got rounded up, right? 11.5 rounded up to 12. Because what's 30% of 9? 2.7. And so 9 plus 2.7. A lot of mathematics in this video. I do apologize. I promise to Spirit of the Law I'm not trying to hone in on his turf. Camels converted. Mysterio getting a good number of conversions. Both his castles, though, are under attack from this far-reaching bombardment. He doesn't have the villagers or the stone, I don't think, to repair both of them. And this is the last thing Mysterio wants to be doing. He's up to 600 stone. He does not want to be repairing anymore. He wants to be going more castles. And I missed the calling of the First Crusade, where 25 sergeants just spawned. Their base armor now should be a 3, which is ridiculous. But the chakrams do come with a +1 attack bonus against infantry. Oh, no, not yet. Sorry, that's the elite version. I do apologize. Infantry and condottieri, although not expecting to see any condos in this particular game. Mysterio somehow got this 3rd relic. So now he's ahead 3 relics to 1 as the camels converted try to kill more villagers. He is tiefing the stone. 1 castle down. A 2nd castle potentially could fall as well. In move the sergeants. Let's see. They're lined up pretty well. Babaorum notices, creates a wall off. Need to wall off the north here as well. Oh, at the last second. And now these sergeants, I'm going to keep an eye on their HP. Look at the pass-through damage. It's not a lot of damage. Again, a base attack of a 3. But the fact that every single unit with every single disc is taking that amount of damage. And Babaorum pulls a Mysterio, says, you think you're lightning fast when it comes to wall off? Let me show you something. As another Sicilian castle falls. And Mysterio doesn't know what the hell to do here. What's the HP on these sergeants? Oh my goodness, my clicking skills. My clicking skills. Atrocious. They're down 600 HP. They've accomplished nothing. And they're down a half of their HP here. And now there's even more chakram throwers. This is very, very bad here for Mysterio. I'm not too sure how he's ahead in the score. 1,000, maybe just by virtue of having the bigger economy, killing 28 villagers, and the Gurjara castle is down. The Trebs are exposed. Will the Sicilian infantry move in? Again, let's keep an eye out. And look at this. Our Gurjara is mixing in hand cannoneers. So that +10 attack bonus against infantry is very much going to be relevant right now. But he loses both Trebs. Loses both Trebs, but not exactly a free get here. The entire infantry force of the Sicilian just melted. I think probably the hand cannoneers did a lot more work there. 17 kills to the chakrams. 15. Okay, so both of them doing a decent amount of work. Chakrams moving in. Not too sure where they think they're going. Hand cannoneers, you know, you've got something called range. You don't really need to be right up close and personal Joker style. That is a reference to the Heath Ledger Joker, by the way, not any other Joker, past or present or future. As our Sicilian continues to move in here, a ram is being brought as well. Only 4. Why are you garrisoning only 4 villagers when you've got all of these other ones here? I mean, obviously you can't garrison all 18. You are not a Teutonic town center, but you can garrison a few, destroy the ram, and that's exactly what he does. More and more halberdiers are moving forward. A Treb? Yeah, a Treb. And we're going heavy camel riders for our Gurjara. Now, this is something that we've discussed, I think, on a few live streams. There's a few civilizations that are very hard to push into. And we saw the other day the Britons on Black Forest are one of them. But that's more situational, right? Depends on the map. And an open map like this, the Britons are about as easy prey as you get. But man, are the Gurjaras hard to push into, because even with the Cavaliers, who do they have Hauberk? Not yet. I hope we get to see Hauberk. Even with Hauberk, even taking less bonus damage, these Gurjara camels, one of which just pulled a Michael Jackson hee-hee moonwalk. Look at that attack bonus against cavalry, plus 25. But that jumps down by a third, which is very sour here. So we'll see what prevails. How is this guy still alive? He's taken down the town center, killed an umpteenth number of villagers. How is he still alive? And now the camels are going to be fighting sergeants. This is not going to go well for the camel at all, as his HP slides further and further into oblivion. That being said, our Gurjaras amassed quite an army here that is going to be very difficult, as I said, for Mysterio to push into. You've got hand cannoneers. I don't know what the hell happened to all the chakrams. You got fighting there underneath the donjon. Actually, I know exactly what happened to them. You got all these hand cannoneers to zone out the infantry. You've got the camels to zone out the cavaliers. The Cavaliers, though, are going to have all of the armory, all the blacksmith upgrades available in a second. The problem is you got to keep these halberdiers the hell away from your camels, because if they can close on the camels... So now we're going to be entering a feudal age style game of keep away, where one set of units, the Cavaliers, want to close on the hand cannoneers. The hand cannoneers want to attack anything and everything. The camels want to close on the Cavaliers, and the halberdiers want to close on the camels. And here we go. Let's see what happens. I love the luring of these units by Babaorum, keeping Mysterio moving. The more he moves, the less he's attacking. The more he's moving, the more these hand cannoneers can fire. But Mysterio says enough is enough. Is Babaorum targeting? No, he's targeting Cavaliers, not halberdiers. In this instance, maybe he should be targeting halberdiers, but the halberdiers go to the north. Are they attacking the Trebs? An absolute disaster of an engagement there for both players, although I think the Gurjara taking the better end of that fight, keeping alive these hand cannoneers, who are now up to 72 kills. And he still has 4 Trebs. Our Gurjara just absolutely crushed that battle. He's ahead in army. He's down only a little bit in military, in civilian population. He's building more and more infrastructure, but his resources on the map, the neutral resources, are getting gobbled up by the Sicilian, who, by the way, has breached Babaorum's base, even though he didn't really need to. There's a breach over here as well. And in move those annoying halberdiers, but let's see it. Oh no, our Gurjara doesn't have enough camels all of a sudden, and now these guys have a hauberk. Now they have hauberk. 6 melee, 8 pierce armor. 8 pierce armor against the hand cannoneer reduces its damage to 9 for a unit that is 140 HP. And just like that, without reinforcements, the Gurjara army has melted. How's he going to reinforce? His Trebs are running to the back. Villagers are going where? Oh, I guess he's not reinforcing. We need to look at that last battle again. Our Gurjara took such an amazing battle in the first battle there, the one where you can see still all the dead bodies. But in his second battle, he just doesn't have the camel numbers. He's got 17 camels, but there's 25 Cavaliers. And by the way, 17 camels, 4 of them over here, 10 of them over here. And this is just a big old exposed army. So let's see what Mysterio does, where he pounces. Is he going for a full central? Oh, and Babaorum does the worst thing possible. He engages on the left with the camels into the halberdiers, perhaps hoping to stop the halberdiers temporarily from moving into this army. Although, why are you scared of halberdiers with hand cannoneers? Okay, so 4 camels down the toilet in probably a matter of seconds, which leaves this army here. 21 hand cannoneers, 9 camels against 24 Cavaliers, and again with hauberk. 8 pierce, 6 melee. Yeah, it's just an overwhelming slaughter at this point. And once the camels fall down, any other civilization, those Cavaliers probably would have died much, much quicker. But because the Sicilians take less bonus damage, because the Sicilians have the extra armor, man, oh man, do they have longevity in their army. And I'm not too sure where these villagers were going towards the end to build a lumber camp with. How many villagers? Not too sure. Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, Babaorum has just been pressed everywhere in all directions. To the north, there is a Sicilian castle going up. To the south, there's been a Sicilian castle for a while. Now it's got 2 Trebs out, getting the stone already mined out. The gold is mining out. And so Babaorum doesn't really have that many resources of his own anymore. He's got a little one patch of gold over here. And I believe that's it. There's one more patch of gold inside his base. And I'm looking, but I'm not finding anything. And he is just out of gold. He's got 98 gold. He's got a good amount of trash resources. But the Gurjaras, man, oh man, do they have probably what? The worst? Second, third worst? Definitely top 3, the worst trash units. They don't even get pikemen. The best that he can put up from any kind of barracks, not that he's has more than the original one barracks that he built, is a spearman. And a spearman is not going to do jack against these units. And wow, Mr. Yo to the north cut off Babaorum from his expansion territory, where he can plop down more units and farms and structures. And that is just the sour nature of this particular map spawn. Mysterio not even using his expansion. but it doesn't really matter. He's expanded all over the map, so he doesn't really need it. He's here to the north, he's here to the center, he's here to the south, and Babaorum is just being squeezed. He's down in villager count. He must have looked at the scores, seen 2,200 point difference, and thought, oh, I'm down 20%. And now he loses a Treb here as well. The base has been breached. Halberdiers, but breached nonetheless. And all of a sudden, things, despite taking a pretty damn good battle here, things just in the blink of an eye absolutely changed for Babaorum. And our Gurjara taps out, realizing he can't put up any kind of resistance anymore. Not with 4 camels. I'm not even sure where these chakrams are. I think they're kind of hiding among the civilian population here. One here and one here next to the mining camp. And even though he's got the 4 Trebs, what the hell is he going to do with them against an army of cavaliers that's breathing down his neck? We've got 95 halberdiers, 78 camel riders. Yeah, for the majority of the game, they were halberdiers. Majority of the game, they were heavies. Let's see, Mr. PKPM. Okay, interesting. Usually the very beginning of the game, 21 minutes in, probably fighting over relics and monks and whatnot. And at the end of the day, Mr. by the way, did collect 4 relics to the one of his opponent, even though for a while it seemed like he wasn't very interested in relic collection. But PKPM, roughly at the same time, can't see the economy being very good for our Gurjara. No, he doesn't even have any of the 4 resources. This is 14,000, just under a 30% bigger economy for our Sicilian. More wood, a lot more food, a little bit more gold, and a lot more stone. Holy moly. That is a lot more, and 1,000 extra gold from the relics conversions. And not really anything to write home about. 27 destroyed structures by our Sicilian, who just plows through with the ram, the camels, and basically any unit he can convert from our Gurjara and take into his army, he did, and then used that against his opponent. And ultimately, this one big last battle here, where our Gurjara forces were just spread way too thin, and Mr. Yo, like a Miley Cyrus wrecking ball, just pushing straight into the middle. And hand cannoneers are fantastic for that first volley. They're amazing for the second volley. But once you close in and that second volley is done, what betrays them is that 3.5 seconds between attacks, because the Cavalier attacks twice as fast as at 1.8 seconds. And so the hand cannoneers definitely needed a meat shield. The meat shield disappeared to a combination of halberdiers and cavaliers. And ultimately, it is the civilization that takes less bonus damage and has extra armor that beats out the civilization that has, did he get? No, he did not get, what's the name of the upgrade I'm thinking of? Frontier Guards. He did not get Frontier Guards. He does not even have a 1/7 of the gold that he needs to get Frontier Guard. That's how bad his economic situation is right now. And ultimately, Mr. Yo, after taking what I thought was a worse engagement here, comes back, replenishes his army, rebuilds the Sicilian legions, and man, did they power through and absolutely wreck this Gurjara army, which is standing at a massive 19, and after this battle will stand at a massive 9, 4 of which are useless Trebs at the moment. So 5 actual military count against the might of the Sicilian army, which is just not stopping, and as we saw, has basically planted itself all over the map. Babaorum realizes there's no coming back from this, taps out, lives to fight another day. Mr. Yo gets the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.